This video looks at the Rafael Nadal, Robin Soderling quarterfinal match at Wimbledon, what I think is the most interesting match of all the men's quarterfinals. And this is, of course, also a rematch of the recent French Open final. Now, what we're going to do is start with Soderling. What tactics should we expect from the Swede? Well, I think, first of all, he needs to serve big and return big. He wants to start most points or as many points on offense, as possible. He doesn't want to get into protracted rallies with Rafa. And if we go back to that French Open final, what was interesting and maybe a little puzzling from Soderling's perspective is the guy would hang out in no man's land and just blast forehands into either corner. And he was content to do that, and he never really followed any of these shots up to the net. So the normal progression would be, you're at the baseline, you're rallying here, you got a rally going on, and then you have a short ball. Wait for it, short ball. So you progress forward, and then you progress up to net. So you hit an approach shot and then come up to net. But Soderling really just stopped right here with the short ball and was, like I said before, content to just hammer away. And Rafa on the clay court gives you a little bit more time. He did a really good job of playing defense, getting a lot of balls back. Soderling overhit. When he did come to net, he looked sort of unsure of himself and got passed a couple times. So this really didn't work for him at the French Open. Now, I do think this strategy is going to be more effective on the grass court because the grass is obviously a lot quicker. The ball is going to move through the court faster, and that's going to really diminish Rafa's ability to play defense. I think this strategy will be much more effective, and I think it could be a winning strategy. Now, Rafa knows that, and he is not, and if you've been watching his previous matches, he hasn't stood as far behind the baseline. This might be off camera right now. He stood much closer to the baseline, and he is not going to be content to simply play defense or as much defense as he did at, on a clay court. He's been playing aggressive tennis when he's gotten a look, and I expect that to continue. So I think he's going to try and prevent Soderling from just hammering away. He's really going to try and take it to Soderling, and particularly, Soderling, a guy who, a bigger guy who is a good mover for someone his size, but doesn't change direction as quickly as a Federer or a Hewitt. If Rafa can start moving him around the court and particularly wrong foot him, if Soderling's recovering back to the middle and then Rafa goes behind him so he has to stop and start, that's going to work to Rafa's favor. Soderling doesn't hit nearly as big when he's not set, and if you can get him on the move, force him to change direction, he's not going to be as set for as many balls. So, this question of the grass court, whose favor is it going to play into? Got to give props to the tech guy, the FYB tech guy, Adam Szymanski, who made this point during our live webcast today. When Soderling is in control of points on the serve, and when he's on offense, maybe in here blasting away, the grass court is really going to play into his favor because the ball is going to be, it's going to move through the court, and it's going to be, his groundies and serve are going to be more effective than they would be on a clay court. But when the point is neutral or Soderling's on defense, then the grass is not going to work in his favor because, like we said, Soderling not as quick as some of the, a Federer or a Hewitt, and he's got long strokes. He needs time to prepare for those strokes, and he's best when he's set up. So because the script is now reversed and Rafa's either neutralized the point or being aggressive, Soderling's going to have less time, so he's not going to be able to take big cuts. On a clay court, even though the clay dulls some of Soderling's offense, it also gives him more time to set up and take big cuts. So it's now the reverse. You got the quick court, you got the offense being augmented, but you've got neutral rallies and defense not as good for Soderling because his time is now cut down. He's not going to be able to set up and blast away. So props again to Adam. Got to give him credit for pointing that out during the webcast. So with all that in mind, what do I think is going to happen with this match? Well, I think Rafa is going to take it in 4 sets. I think Rafa looked really good in his previous round, and the knee doesn't seem to be an issue. He's moving well, and he's really transitioning forward and playing aggressively when he has the opportunity. He's not content to just sit there and kind of move the ball around or grind away, kind of more his style on a clay court, even though he's getting away from that a little bit as well. Or you could compare that to, an Andy Murray, who sometimes doesn't take the initiative when he has the look. So I think Rafa is going to be mindful of Soderling, of how dangerous Soderling is when he has offensive opportunities. So I expect Rafa to keep the pedal to the metal and try and be on offense whenever he gets a chance, for, of course, the reasons we've been talking about over the course of this video. So again, Rafa in 4 sets. I think the final thing I would say in terms of Soderling is that he kind of has peaks and valleys in terms of his focus, and sometimes he's lost his focus. Happened against Berdych in the semis of the French Open. He went away for basically a set. And he went 5 sets with Ferrer, who is kind of a mini Rafa, doesn't possess, he's a great defensive player, but he's not as good as Rafa, doesn't possess the offense that Rafa does. So if that match is any indication, Soderling got pushed there, and I expect, again, if that match is indication, I think he's going to have trouble playing someone of Rafa's caliber. So I think Rafa's going to take this match in 4 sets. I certainly think it could be a high-level, high-quality match, a lot of shot making. So again, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it has the potential to be the most interesting of all the men's quarters at Wimbledon. To close this video, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our live webcast, our live broadcast during the Wimbledon final, the men's final. Now, during that match, we are going to be broadcasting live on our website, fuzzyyellowballs.com, so you can tune in and listen to myself and Ian Westerman of EssentialTennis.com commenting on the match, and we've got a chat box going, so y'all can ask us some questions. We can certainly interact, diagram plays on the dry erase board, and so on. You may be familiar with the webcast if you watched us, if you tuned in during the Aussie Open final or more recently the French Open final. And like I said, a ton of fun. We had thousands of people watch in the past, and we'll be giving away a bunch of free, cool prizes. So if you are watching that match, please visit us on the website, again, fuzzyyellowballs.com. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you tune in.
Did you know that there are only 5 simple things you need to do to have a textbook forehand like Roger Federer? If you click the link in the description of this video and visit our website, you'll learn why Federer's forehand is so good and how you can copy his technique. And this entire 45-minute lesson is 100% free. Join the thousands who have already learned what these 5 simple things are and take control of your forehand today.